Defenders Episode 8. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was interesting. The action was good, but I swear I saw some stuff that looked like it was referential to like Adam West Batman, and kind of like Batman Forever, because parts of Batman Forever were kind of like an homage to Adam West Batman, just darker, and this was dark. So, and at other points I felt it had a very late 90s-ish vibe, which is very strange. Like, some of the fight scenes literally felt like, at certain points, I'm not gonna lie, they felt like some of the fight scenes from Mystery Men, which happens to be a movie I love, so, but a movie that is not the same in tone as this series. I kind of, just, the whole episode got so generic to the point where literally there were entire sections where you could totally say what line was coming next, what was going to happen next. It was very strange, and I kind of enjoyed it for what it was, but that was I really think that was unintentional, so that's probably not a good thing for them, and I don't think a lot of people would look at it the same way I looked at it, because I look at it as, you know, a series of unintentional callbacks and stylistic choices that I think are interesting, but they don't really fit with what I thought the series was going for. So it was it's a hard series to nail down exactly where it is, but it was all right. It was, like I said, I kind of enjoyed the last episode. I kind of enjoyed it, but I don't know if I enjoyed it for necessarily the right reasons. It was very late 90s-ish, kind of, some of the cinematography, some of the sets and the lighting, and it was very, it was so weird. It was so weird. It was so weird. It looked like they were fighting at one point in like the Batcave. I mean, like, not like it was actually the Batcave, but that was what it was like. It had like the same lighting that the Batcave would have had, and the same. It was so weird. It was so. I don't know. I don't think that was intentional, but. And again, so generic at certain points. At certain points, it was just like somebody would open their mouth, and I'd just be like, I know what you're gonna say. It's the only thing you can say, because that's where we are at this point. And I don't necessarily hate you for it, but it's just so obvious that not what I thought you were trying to do here. So, if you like really generic, possibly throwback homage sort of things, you probably enjoy the last episode. But, and then the way the series wrapped up was okay, but it was very, it didn't have a feeling of finality, even temporary finality for the most part for me, you know, or a cliffhanger. I mean, a cliffhanger would have been weird because that would have been annoying, but it was just this weird thing where they're just like, I don't know why they did it, but it's very much like, well, I guess everything's over now. But also, it's not over now, and more things will happen, and I'm just, in the future, come back for Jessica Jones 2, and Luke Cage 2, and eventually Defenders 2, probably. So, it was interesting in that way. But I don't know. I don't know what people are going to think of this series. I honestly don't, because I haven't read what anyone else thinks of the series yet. I don't think people are gonna like it, really, for the most part. I don't think so. But it was all right. It was okay. It wasn't great. For the most part, almost no part of the series was really great. Most of it really wasn't terrible either, though. It was all right. It was okay as a series. I mean, it's like a if I had to put like a number on it or something, like a 6 out of 10 or something like that, you know, depending. It's hard because episode by episode it changes constantly, but moment to moment sometimes it changes constantly. Like half an episode in the series will be like a 8 or higher, sometimes individual moments maybe, and then the other half will be like, well, that was more like a 4, occasionally a 3, you know. And at no point was it ever really bad, but at no point was it ever really good. For the most part, it was just kind of fine. That's ultimately how I feel about Defenders at this point. We'll see how Punisher is when Punisher comes out, but I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with some of the things with Iron Fist season 2 maybe, and Jessica Jones season 2. I mean, I'm obviously interested to see what happens with Jessica Jones season 2 because David Tennant comes back, you know, when they announced that. So that's fantastic. But the other characters, I'm not 100% sure what they're gonna do, because part of the problem is they leave it so it's like, oh, they're all back to their own side stories, but they all could come back together at any moment, which I guess makes sense. That makes sense, but it's just kind of this weird thing. It's this weird thing going forward where I'm like, I don't know what the season 2 of their shows are gonna be. Are all the season 2s gonna be, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing, and then if I need some help, I'll call in somebody once in a while? Or all their season 2s gonna be like, hey, these problems got too big for me, so all the seasons are like a mini Defenders seasons. I don't know. Like, it focuses around the character, but all the Defenders have to show up at some point and help. I don't. Or is it going to be like Jessica Jones is there by herself most of the time, but then Luke Cage shows up again for kind of like what the original series were, where they just show up casually. I don't know, but it was all right. It was all right. I don't know. If you have an opinion, I'd love to know your opinion, because this is one of those weird things where I really feel like people are not going to like this series, and I'm interested to see how people feel. So, you have an opinion, let me know, and maybe I'll come back later at some point and do like a full spoiler, you know, for the whole season. I'll do a spoiler, you know, kind of feelings on why certain things happened or didn't happen or things like that, but until then, I don't know how to feel, so let me know how you feel.